Hello, hello. Emily from Just Ask Em here with Kenyana. I don't even know how we met. It just
Us
happened.
karaoke. I was not singing.
I was. Cheers to that baby girl. Woo!
Yes. Cheers to me not singing.
So I do just want to say it's been a long week. By this point, I treated her to wine because she's amazing. But she's treated me to a yogurt parfait and a Reese's chocolates. Those are not my demands, but you know,
They're necessary though.
she's on the favorite list now.
Chocolate and wine, but just like a small amount. Not a lot. But we could have a lot.
Most of the time it's like early in the day, so I'm drinking coffee, so this wine is hitting. I don't want to complain about the humidity because we wanted summer and it's here, but my hair is struggling. Yes, it is. So who is Kenyana? Give us a little background, mystery lady.
Trying to take out the fun parts, right? So now, present day. The majority of my world is work. So with work, I build curriculum.
Okay.
So I build learning material through my company, which is a marketing firm that service underestimated entrepreneurs. So
Okay.
that's women, that's single parents, that's first generation entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs that are neurodivergent in some way or another. We can go into the BIPOC, but they, for whatever reason, haven't had the same access
Right.
to marketing, specifically email marketing. And they have different thought processes about email. Most of them think it's announcements of sorts.
Right.
So I build curriculum around that. And within the firm, I work with colleges or trade schools or universities, organization for profit, not for profit. And I either build the curriculum and then teach it to them, or I build the curriculum and license or sell it to them.
Okay.
Not super sexy work,
Right.
but it's honest work.
Necessary.
Yes, it's honest
Yeah.
work. So a lot of that work is done through those channels. And then I have two schools. So there's the academy and there's the academy prep, which entrepreneurs come in directly on their own.
Okay. Are those in Buffalo, New York?
They are is based in Buffalo,
Okay.
but as far as students are in 4 continents.
Oh, wow.
So they,
okay.
we make it happen. So a lot of my time is spent in work. Not all of it. Like, I'm active but accessible, and so outside of that, I really find a lot of passion in community.
Okay.
If not give back, kind of like paying it forward in some respects. And other than that, I'm asleep.
Simple and straightforward.
For the most part, yeah, that's me. I'm on
good.
chill, and I'm sure some other things will come out
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
not top of mind. But for the most part, that's
Okay. That's the base of it.
that's me now.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, you not exactly, because like sometimes through young lives these days, people go through so many changes and different like chapters, because I think we're a little different in the aspect of, if we kind of don't like it or we don't enjoy it, we'll change it. It's good and
Yeah.
bad sometimes, because it is a matter of
Yeah, or don't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I love the word no.
It-
It's my favorite.
I'm learning the word no, and it feels good. And
No,
it
you gotta
feels...
practice. You got
I'm
no,
practicing.
nah, can't do it.
Nah,
Can't
I'm
make
good.
it. You'll be all right. They all
Yeah,
work.
and like I said, I think it has been a nice balance in the sense of, you know, kind of just that balance of you create your own schedule, and then
Sure.
like you said, you said, you're available but you're accessible, or you're
Yes, I'm active, but I'm
active
accessible.
but accessible. So I
Yeah.
like that, because I'm starting to understand that feeling in the sense of, I feel like I'm always doing so much, but I feel good.
Yeah.
And I think it's like not what you do, but how you do it. Just like what you say, or yeah, what you say. How is it? Not what you say, but how you say it is what I'm trying to say. So I think it's kind of crazy, like when you learn that, how different it can actually feel. Where if you want to take a break, you can.
Peaceful.
Yes, it's like
it
a peace.
Peaceful.
It really is a peace of mind. But that was going to lead to my question of, this is where you are now. Have you always did that, or what led you to what you are doing now?
As far as work, so I'll answer in two parts: work and as who I am now. As far as work, I think I was always kind of doing this work, but it looked differently.
Okay.
And so I've been in this entrepreneurial space for almost 2 decades now, and it's changed a lot. When I first came in, entrepreneurship was a jobby. It was like a hobby that periodically would make you some money.
Like, okay, I just got it. It's like, hobby, that's new.
Yeah, it wasn't a career path.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that starving artist kind of.
My businesses are in the jobby phase right now, and I'm okay with that.
No, they're businesses. They're active. They work. They have paperwork
But I do still have a day job. That's why I say that.
Oh, you can still have that. I think the jobby from the mindset of people was like, it's not a real thing. It's kind of like, I think you should really consider getting a job that pays you, as opposed to periodically.
Right.
But no, you have a full business. You have all the fixings of career. You can just change your mind anytime you want to.
Right.
But when I first came in, there was no support. So now Buffalo has all of these incubators and accelerators and cultivators and all these things and support systems, and it's like they were not checking for us, that long ago. And so then it started to pick up. But when it started to pick up, it picked up a certain way. So you had to be kind of in certain spaces, certain career paths, and then some were sexier than others, right? And then you got into, well, if you don't have something tangible, you don't have a real thing, then you're in the service space, and a coach is best, right? And then, so this is actually my third business.
Okay.
The first one was a publishing firm. And that was during that weird period between traditional publishing with like Simon and Schuster, and you get these advances and you hope to get all this money. Then it was self-publishing.
Okay.
But then it was terrible when it first started, right? Because you had a bunch of like really ambitious people that were going to publish all these books for their friends and strangers across the country, but they had no real raw skills. Like they weren't good editors. They knew nothing about book publishing. They just knew that they could go on to some sort of thing like KDP is now, and it'll print it out, and it was terrible. So there was no respect for it.
Right.
And then I'm more of a planner than an executor. So I was figuring out like barcodes and ISBNs, and finally it was just kind of like, this is no. This is
you tried, no. And then it was a no.
This is a no. And then my next company was an editing firm, and I was editing marketing collateral for companies and schools, but then Grammarly came in, and some others, White Smoke and Ginger. They took me out. They took me out fast too, y'all, like super fast. And then, but I did well.
Yeah,
like I did well. They just did it faster and cheaper, and so they took me out, and then I wallowed for a bit. A long bit, and then
and that's okay.
Yeah. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was like those ugly cries, and I was just like, why?
How they gonna come and do that?
Right. I felt they were so. I mean, I use them now, but back then I was like,
you was salty. You was salty.
I was super salty. And then I started this, and this was a competitive space too, because it was digital marketing. So social media was hot. Everybody wanted to talk about social media.
Yeah, it was a good time for it.
Digital marketing is only social media. So you have all
Right.
these digital marketing companies and digital marketing strategists, and it's like, what are you doing though?
Yeah.
Because you got referral marketing, you got affiliate marketing, you got email marketing, you got social media. You got, it's like 7 of them.
Right.
Like, you can't do all the things, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like super competitive, and it was exhausting. Like, I didn't want to. I'm not hold you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold
Yeah,
you.
the minute something feels exhausting to do, you already know you're just going to be pushing yourself to do it. It's not going to
Right.
be
I was like,
enjoyable.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
And so I had a business coach at the time. I hope she still likes me, because I gave that lady a hard way to go. Because she was talking about, you should consider niching down. What do you like the most?
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I don't really like to people. I don't really. I don't. It's overstimulating. Digital marketing is overstimulating to me, holistically.
Yeah.
And so I chose email. I was
Okay.
like, I like to send an email. That's quick. I'm a
Just be
writer.
behind,
Do,
not too
do,
many
do.
people, do your
Yeah, and
thing.
it's like, I don't gotta see nobody, I gotta talk to nobody. And but it took off.
Yeah.
It worked. But there were folks that were educated in that space, like they were going to the conferences and the summits and the conventions, and they're speaking on it and being part of like the trade journals and all this other stuff. And then you had the ones that tried something that they found on YouTube, and now they're teaching it.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so I was like, okay, so this is 2018 or so. And I was like, at the time I just started teaching at Madai.
Okay.
And I was like, I kind of like doing this way. And so I went to, at the time, the chair, and I was like, teach me curriculum, like how to build out how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she's like, you sure? I was like, girl, I'm sure. And she did. And then
Okay.
I was doing undergrad. And so then I did grad. And she was like, well, I think there's more to it. And so I started, at that time, I was teaching in the business management and leadership department. And so she said, I want you to try something. So I started teaching in the interdisciplinary studies department, which changed everything, because that's all like critical thinking and international marketing and then she sent me this packet of like New York State stuff. And so she said, okay, you can do that school you wanted. And I remember saying it to her, but I didn't think too much on it.
Right.
And so that's when I started it. I started the school.
Yeah.
And it kind of just went from there. So
yeah.
in that space, I think my career wasn't just, I'm going to do this thing. It was like all the things that didn't work out in some way.
It developed into that.
Right. And so, later when I was publishing books and different things, that first business made sense. And then that second business helped me not be a statistic from the first business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then now it's a full, I mean, I don't know if it's complete or not, but it looks more circular than it did before.
But it's like, is anything or anybody ever complete, really? You know what I mean? Like, and I think there's so many cool factors in there, because it's just like, I had to learn that myself, in the sense of, and for anybody like watching or getting started, or who has started and may be doubtful or hesitant, I've learned that there's actually a beauty in that. Because I had Jess Bryan on, not too long ago. Her episode comes out on the 28th. And it's funny, a couple things. She mentioned multidisciplinary, because she likes the whole housing thing. So it's funny that you say interdisciplinary, right? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, but they're not, they're cousins. Yeah.
Well, so you have that, and then just in the light of, it's okay to not have it all figured out.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? But also having that understanding and patience in like the journey, where it's just like, even if you, like you said, where the first business started, it didn't work out. Some could say like it failed, but it's always that getting up factor after.
Right.
And like you said, okay, you wallowed in for a long bit, but that's okay, because it's just like, you at least tried, which is more than a lot of people could say. You tried it, it didn't work out, you figured something else out. But it also, in a way, I feel like how you look at those negative or sad things that don't seem to work out, they actually still play a part in the story.
Oh, for sure.
And it still directed you into your second chapter. And you could still be doing your second chapter that eventually developed into a third.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the thing of it is the struggle and being patient enough to trust the process and understand it as it goes without controlling it too much. And I'm like so
Right.
guilty of that.
I think we all are. And I think too, when it comes to like professional development, we say with our careers, roles, and you have to have personal development and to be okay with that. That's why I like that
Right.
2-part where it's like where I am professionally, I wasn't, that took time, but the personal part took time too, because I think now I'm finally doing something that's within my capacity.
Right.
You know, as opposed to like I'm trying to do all the things and I'm trying to keep up with this competitor
Yeah.
and this person that's doing something synonymous and this person, you know, I respect and I want her or his respect. And so I'm trying to do the things that they're suggesting I do. Now I don't give too many damns.
And I think, and once again, and and seriously, there's an art in that. And it's like, I'm very conscious because I know my flaws. I know where I can be stubborn and set in my ways, but I also have to battle not being so stubborn that I'm opposed to learning or doing things differently.
Sure.
But my point of that is there also is a fine line where there's nothing wrong with having people you admire how they do things, this and that. But as an entrepreneur, it's not for the weak. You do have to have, you do have to have a certain kind of strong mental to a point in the sense of you had a vision, you knew what you wanted to turn it into, and staying true to that vision. Because along the way, whether it's family, friends, you know, peers, co-workers, whatever the case may be, everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have suggestions. They're going to make it sound so easy. And then you're looking at them like, okay, that sounds great, but who's going to help me with that?
Sure. Right.
Or, okay, how do I get, okay, you're going to give me, you know, thousands of dollars to do that thing. Well, you should. And once again, it's not that you're going to be opposed to or not listen to people's suggestions, but if you created something, you know it works, it's proven to work, you almost have to have these blindfolds of who cares what other people are doing.
Right.
Or not so much we're like, well, they're doing it like, well, maybe I should, because then it doesn't become your style anymore. And I think when you discipline yourself in that, it actually becomes a type of empowerment and confidence.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I think social media is great. It's great for what it is, the use, the purpose, but it's also bad in the sense where I think it distracts a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. And I think some people want to be distracted, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think at the baseline of any successful entrepreneur, and I'm not saying in dollars, but self-efficacy, that belief in themselves. It's like, I trust that I can do this thing. I trust that I can make a decision that would be best for me. Aren't those so good?
Oh, you got white chocolate and
Yes.
wine, y'all. Oh, I did good picking white wine then.
Yes. It's a good
Combination.
combo. But I think, you know, when we get into business or we start a project within our business, we're stoked about it, right? We're super excited about it, and
We're at this
telling
high.
folks, and it's like you have to stay there though, because although there are some areas of opportunity, things that you could, you know, you need to learn in order to do this the best way, say the finance piece or the marketing piece or whatever. We get lost in looking on social media, and sometimes we want to, especially if our superpower isn't implementation, if it's not being decisive and getting something done. It's I want to plan this amazing thing that just never happens, right? And so we get you know, kind of caught up in that. And I think sometimes we want to.
It's easy too.
And it, you know, we start scrolling and we're comparing, and then that's when you get like that imposter syndrome, and then it's paralysis by analysis. You do nothing. And so we have to, at the baseline, always believe we can do it. And as soon as you say it out loud, somebody says, "Okay, do it."
Right.
You know?
And I think in a couple of points to that, in the sense of there is such a fine line of easily getting distracted. And once in a blue moon, I'll spend trash time on TikTok. But that's probably because my mind is going so fast that whatever it takes to slow it down, let me do something that's literally doing nothing for my brain. That's the longest I'll spend on TikTok. Outside of that, I'm usually really focused. I'm intentional with my time. If I see something on social media that I feel, because you get sucked in Literally, next thing you know, it's like 2 hours later. So the minute I see that, I close it out. I don't even feed into the temptation of the distraction.
So
because
when I
it
text
literally
you,
happens
I'm
like
gonna say
that.
I'm in tea time, tea zone.
Right.
It's gonna be TikTok, trash time.
That's a new one. It's my trash time. Because it's just like, oh my God, it's like, you got to slow the brain down and you understand because we're doing about 10 different things, so it's like you do have to just turn it all off at times. But it's like you're so high, it's like you need something to calm down and then you're able to like relax. But then also like, staying on that high as an entrepreneur. For me, I'll say yes and no, because sometimes you can only control it so much. And the lows are going to come. They come.
Yeah, absolutely.
At one point, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm
quit every
returning
day.
to LLC. And then next thing you know, I'm like, all right, let me I might have been dramatic. Let me just keep pushing a little more. And then fast forward, here we are. So, understanding like the lows are going to come, but doing your best to stay at that high, even through the lows.
Sure.
Because the beauty of it is if you can stay slightly elevated above the low that is occurring, that is the true strength and mindset of an entrepreneur. Because when you're an entrepreneur, there's no HR, there's no payroll, there's no office manager, there's no coworker, there's no somebody you can have fill in when you need a sick day or a mental day. So it's like you're forced to learn this balance of, I know how hard I got to work if I want this peace of mind and freedom of the entrepreneurial route. But then I also have to balance self-care and my mental health, my personal, in order to keep going and not burn out.
Right.
So there's so many like moving parts. I'm very efficient, but I had to learn from my own efficiency when it became rushing.
Right.
And then I was just making mistakes, creating double work, having to go back and then just like,
right.
So out of everything that I do, that's why I love my podcast, because my podcast is my happy place.
Yeah.
I can let go of trying to perfect, because trying to perfect, like I just made a post the other day, trying to perfect will make you miss out on opportunities and enjoying life.
Oh, for sure.
It just will. So learning all those things, putting it together, creating that balance and kind of figuring it all out and how it can work together.
Yeah. It takes time.
It
takes
does.
a lot of time.
And time is okay.
Right. I think entrepreneurship is very performative. Like you are always performing something, some task, some relationship building, something. You're always doing something. And I think for me, that only works with spending a lot of time alone. Like a lot of time alone.
Yes.
And, I think it sounds not fun. It sounds unsexy.
It's actually really peaceful.
I like spending time on
my
myself.
company.
I do too.
I literally, I say, God, am I crazy? Because I literally be saying something and I crack myself up.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that normal?
You know what it is? But you know what? I've been, I was talking to someone yesterday. So Wonderbrink, we were there.
Yes.
And we were talking about creatives and the capacity they need to create.
Right.
And some, maybe the extroverted more would.
You kind of need to be surrounded by people for the inspiration and influence.
Right. But for the introverted, like myself, no.
Very interesting. So here's a disclaimer. Before 10 or 9 a.m., if Kenyana has not had 2 cups of coffee, you will not recognize her.
I'm no fun.
I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? She was like, I just haven't had my coffee. I said, oh, yes, ma'am.
No fun. and the funny thing is I'm up early, but that's a lot of peopling.
You're powering on.
Right. It's a lot of peopling early, and I need time personally to figure out what I think about the day. How I want to go about my day. What is my mood?
But that's part of knowing yourself. And even with something like that, I feel like people look at it as like a negative or this and that. Listen, being alone, if you take the time to get to know yourself, that is actually your best time. And there's nothing wrong with getting to know yourself. And it is okay if it goes against the grain of society, whoever says what should be right or wrong, this and that. If you know yourself, if you're true to yourself, stick with that. It ain't going to be for everybody, and ain't nobody trying to people please either.
You know what's so funny? Somebody came over to me at Wonderbrink, and they was like, "Are you having a good morning?" I said, "I don't know."
I'm still figuring it out.
but that's, for me, I need to figure it out before I get where I'm trying to go.
Yeah, you need
And I
to
was
feel
like
it
rushing,
out.
and I got there, and everybody was trying to decide how I'm supposed to
For
receive the
you,
day.
right,
And
right.
it irritated, can I curse?
Not really lightly. The
It
hell.
irritated me crazy.
Irritated the hell out of her. And I think there's a mindfulness and
Yeah.
consciousness of that from others.
Yeah.
That it should come from you. Like, you do have to learn to read the room. I'm like about like, hey, Kenyana, and I'm like, I read the room real quick. I said, I'm gonna tone it down.
Not yet.
Get your
Not
coffee,
yet,
girl.
Emily.
All
Not
good.
yet.
All good. I didn't take it personal at all.
And a lot of people don't, but I think,
Yeah.
I'm not aggressive,
No,
but I
but
think a lot of people do kind of figure it out. Because I'm both.
Our faces have subtitles.
I was like, no. No.
The Lord says no. That's my favorite thing.
I'm smiling, but they says no.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's funny because I don't even know how long we've been talking at this point. So the title of this episode was Privacy versus Secrecy, but you still let it there in the sense of sometimes you need to be alone.
Right.
So let's clarify being alone. It's not always about you. It's nothing to be taken personally. Mm-hmm. But sometimes there are just people in this world who know what they need when they need it. So you had mentioned previously, you get confused a lot of the time, feedback from people of, oh, you're so private or you're so like secretive. Let's dive into that.
Okay. So I am a very private person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, privacy for me is, let me tell you what I want you to know.
Pepper.
And let me be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think not everything is necessary to know right away.
Right.
Like when you meet somebody, you can think that they're amazing. You can think that they're dope, and you want to know, do you have this? Do you have kids? Are you married? Where do you live? That's too much for me.
It's this instant gratification of just having everything they need.
Right. And I think for me, I live slow. I live slow. I live at a pace that I'm comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And I don't ask those kind of questions either. Like you meet somebody, I trust that I'm going to see you again.
Right.
And we're going to have another conversation, and you're going to share more, and I'm going to share more. And we're going to build, a foundation that's solid, not like
all at once. Nobody longs for anything anymore because just like, well, I know this, and this about you just off of social media, so I don't feel the need to like meet you. And it's like, whoa.
Right.
Because like you said, what I show on social media is only what I want you to know. But
right.
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Right. But I'm not secretive in the way of like somebody says, do you have children? And I'm like, no. Like I won't lie, or I don't answer. Like,
right.
But I also feel like, kind of gauging, how comfortable somebody is. People will tell you what they want to know, and they'll tell you based on how comfortable they are.
Well, that energy exchange,
right?
Yeah, and because like you're not just gonna know a person for 5 minutes. Hi, this is my bank account, my routing number. Like you know what I mean? Like you're like, hi, my name is so and so. What are you eating? Well, I like so and so food. And I think because it goes to so many levels, I had to learn that myself of when it comes to a relationship. There's all these expectations. There's all these pressures. There's, well, it should. And you can't push people away doing that.
Oh, sure.
So I think, the most beautiful thing in my most recent relationship is like, when I met him, I was like, we could be friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that. I turned off. And I disconnected the expectations, the titles, the what it should be after a certain point. I turned it off. And naturally, me as a woman and old habits, sometimes it's easy to go back to those things because you want what you want, when you want, how you want it.
Sure, you're right.
But, but one of the best lessons that I've learned so far is what a difference when I let it happen naturally and organically in its time.
Right.
Like you said, you live slower, but that's not a bad thing because you enjoy things as they come to you. You're not just on to the next thing, never enjoying that one thing before you're like running to the next.
Right. And we talked about that too. Like when we're hanging out, I'm not on my phone. Like I want to be present. Like this moment is important. I want to remember what you said. I want to engage with what you said. But people be on their phone and doing 3 different things, talking to somebody while they're on the phone.
Yeah.
And talking to you.
And it's
a lot.
Rude to a certain point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. But I think when it comes to like privacy and those things, it's like those are intimate moments. Intimate moments are private to me, you know, and so they're
The
sacred
world
to
doesn't
me.
need to see it.
No,
Yeah.
and they don't need to be talked about, and they don't need to be shared, and that's how I keep my head straight. You know, like it's not a. There's a difference between my work and everything else,
Right.
or relationships, you know, platonic or romantic, and everything else. It's like being present in other things, but the only way I can fully be present is if this is sacred, this is private, this is our time. And when it's shared with the public, everything that you're doing, you know, to me, it's just too
overstimulating.
much.
It's
It is
Yeah.
overstimulating, but it's like too much. And then I'm frustrated and I'm resentful and all these other emotions just because it wasn't done for me. It was done for you.
It's the obligation.
Right. And I don't like that.
And I've become, and it's hard. It's hard because like in some industries it's almost a requirement, which I understand.
Right.
Like for myself, kind of with everything I'm doing, yeah, social media presence, especially at this time, is kind of necessary. But my goal is for it to then speak for itself because it's a lot. It's time consuming. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like this autopilot. And everything I do is definitely like intentional and like with purpose. And, you know, I love doing my episodes because I feel like, you know, one episode pours into the next beautifully. If there's ever any episodes you see and you see a person that you feel like you want to collaborate with or connect with, reach out to me, I'll connect you. You know, that's the point of this. Even back to your point of marketing. Everybody don't got $3,000 a month to just, you know, as a new business owner to put into marketing.
Right.
And that's why I love doing this, because somebody might be starting out. You know, I charge a small fee or nothing at all if I'm asking you to be on my show. You know, and I think it's that being a good neighbor type of thing that helps the community. Like you said, you know, kind of, because success is not measured by how much money you make. You know, success can be in many different forms. So I think it's like the consciousness and the awareness.
Right.
You know, and it's just like when you are overstimulated, whether it's for yourself or if you have a partner, or whatever the case may be, what are you doing to take a step back, be aware with that, be okay, be alone if you need to, not necessarily forcing yourself to be around people when you kind of know you probably should be alone and be spending some time with yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think with entrepreneurship, it's creative work, no matter what you're doing. It's creative work, and it requires your brain to be on, you know, to figure it out, and you'll figure out all the things. But I think knowing your capacity with things, you know, like how much can you really stand?
Yeah.
And sometimes our work don't really require us to people as much as we think, but we're thinking, well, I got to get, you know, eyeballs on my stuff, and I have to do all these things, and it's like, but do you really?
It becomes an anxiety.
Right.
Social anxiety is such a real thing.
Right.
Such a real thing.
I think once you settle, and I trust that I'll figure this out, and I'll do it in a way that works for me, you know, that I feel good about. That's when success really kicks in all the ways. You know, like you have more time, you have more energy, your capacity just opens up, and you make more money. You know, because when you're doing everything, you're really not doing anything in completion, right?
It's like a hamster in a wheel.
Right.
You're burning more energy too quick.
So I think it's knowing who you are, and in order to really be good at what you do, you have to know who you are, because people buy from people. And so they connect with you based on who you are and your values, and that comes out in how you do your work. You know, and so spending time, for me, I need to be alone. I am home by myself. I'm usually sleeping. I work.
But when you're out, girl, you be working. You work.
But I do spend a lot of time alone. You know, I don't, and I'm not ashamed about that. You know, I'm not going to this party, I'm not going to this event, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that.
And I don't think you need to be. Well, and then with your type of industry compared to mine are very different.
Sure.
I wouldn't envy yours because it sounds like a lot of reading. It sounds like a lot of like words and books and this. And that is not my niche. It's not my forte. I know that, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
So you know yourself best in what you do, where doing that type of work, you need a lot of rest. You need a lot of that, restored focus just to be able to comprehend, like, building curriculums. That's hours upon hours, and that's not the only thing you're doing,
Yeah. I think everybody's work is like wild to me. Like your work is wild to me. Um,
In what way?
in a sense of like, I can't imagine how much peopling you do.
Okay, well, I like people, but I don't. And I know that might be surprising for some. Because of once again, knowing yourself, because of the industry I know I enjoy and I chose, I developed an understanding and patience of what it requires to be successful. But when I'm ready to not be around people, I ain't gonna be around people. That's what, and I had to learn that and have a little backbone of, I'm done. Withdraw, rest and get myself together. But I also pushed myself because I knew there was always a hidden potential there, and people always told me, and I said, well, let me try it.
Yeah.
And I tried it. And I'm like, okay, I don't do my best in every customer or client service industry, but I know where I do well. Right. And where I do well is when it's personalized, when it's customized, when it's slowed down, when I can sit there and make them feel seen. If they're investing money in me, I want them to be made feel special.
Sure.
Where it's just like, hi, find everything you need today. Hi, okay, what account are we putting in it? That's not, it's just not me. It's too quick. There's not a lot of emotion. I'm an empath. I'm passionate. I do like, I'm fascinated by people, their stories. I like elderly people. I do home care. They're wise. How they live life is amazing. You learn elderly people are like the key to life of what your future could look like.
Sure.
And I love that. I love mystery. You know what I mean? So, but I had to learn that about myself over so many years, working so many different jobs. So I like people, but I don't like people. I like people with common sense. I like people who are mindful. I like people who are considerate. Now, the people I don't like are the ones that are the opposite of that. You drain me, because if that's genuinely what your energy is, I can't open up myself to that. And that's where I stop peopling. And I'll always be respectful and tolerate to a certain point, but I'm going to be done quicker with you if you're just like self-absorbed and just entitled and it's just whatever you need. Okay, bye. And then, but now if you're a person like yourself and you're thoughtful and you can talk and you listen and I talk, you know what I mean?
Like you're kind, but if not,
then it's like, all right, cool. Like I could say, we could talk for hours. Like our episode will be over. So, but like we could do a whole nother podcast episode if we wanted, but it's that energy, that mindset, knowing who you are. And when you know who you are, that feeds into so many other things, because that reflects in you're comfortable within yourself. Body language, that's like a whole nother episode. If I do body language, I probably will have you on, because...
Mind you, y'all, she was teasing about house. And she's like, you can relax. I was like, I am relaxed.
You look so proper. But because I always want to make sure my platform is authentic, it's natural. Yeah. I always want people to just let go here. Even if we are talking about business or something professional. I mean, we're just talking, and there's business in everything. So it goes either way. And it's just summed up. It's just really the balance of it all put together.
Right. And you know what, to your point, as far as like the topic of the episode, I think knowing where your values are, and being able to draw that line in the sand and say, this is how I'm going to operate. And so, with the school, you figure there's different cultures and different ways of communicating, and I kind of like bind my time with how I'm going to interact with people. But, there are cultures that feel like they want to know everything about you. It's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, but, they feel like you're teaching me something. I need to know where that comes from.
Yeah.
And then you have the ones that's like, just send me the email. And I was like, man.
My kind of person.
Yeah, but knowing where your values are, you know,
Yeah.
like knowing that it's okay to just be you, and
Yeah.
you don't have to do all the things. And you know, there's different thought processes about private people. You know, like, oh, you're a secret, and you're not a real person on the internet, and you know, all this other stuff. And like, don't be a weirdo. You know,
we'll end on this. Let me tell you the benefit of privacy or secrecy.
Yeah.
It helps you filter out the people you probably ain't got no business being connected to anyways.
True.
So there you have it.
That is a good place to stop.
It's just simple. It's simple. Where it's just like whether it's being private, or I mean, and secrecy. I mean, yes, there's some, like, secrecy could be negative, like, in some ways if it's, like, dishonest. But even secrecy, because it's just, like, you can see a person like yourself, you carry yourself well, your energy, your aura is good. But those be the people with the craziest, deepest, probably saddest, insane stories you would never
and you can't
imagine.
handle it.
And that's the thing. And you're also mindful that if you just jump into telling somebody your full story, they're going to be like, wait a minute. You asked for it. Right. So it's important to, like, respect people's ruler of how much they offer, what they don't offer. Don't pry. Don't be nosy. You know, and respect. If somebody stops somewhere, leave it there respectfully. Don't.
Right. And I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint, just knowing what you want to share, because when you get into this space, you meet people all over the place.
Right.
You know, and you have to know what is okay for you.
Right.
And what's okay for the people around you. Mm-hmm. Whether, you know, you're in a relationship, you have family, you know, friends, how much are they comfortable with people knowing who they are? Like, my kids, that is not a conversation unless we're friends, you know, like.
Right. And like I said, like, you and I might have a conversation, and then a conversation that you might have with someone at a networking event is going to be completely different, because you might be meeting them for the first time. You might be there for business. So you're going to stay in the lane of business. Right. You're not going to be talking about your kids at a networking event.
Some people do, and it's weird and it's awkward and uncomfortable. And I'm like, please make it stop. And if you're an empath, you know, we were talking about that. If you're an empath, I don't ask questions because I can't handle it. Emotionally, I can't handle other people's stuff.
And
don't
besides
cry.
not handling it, she really don't care to know.
Well, that too. I really Let's be honest. I don't care, but not in a way that it's disrespectful.
Not inconsiderately,
just like,
right?
I don't want to know that about. I can't.
You can't retain that information.
It's too much. Yeah. And so, like, when people do stuff like cry and stuff in front of me, I'm an empath. Like, I'm thinking I'm sad. I'm not sad. Like, so, you know. But you know, it took me a long time to get to that place where it's like you
learn the art of it. You learn the art of, because there are some people that are really just oblivious to it. Yeah. And I think you learn to read that, and you're just like, okay, wow, let me handle this person with care, because they, like, really don't notice they should have stopped about 10 sentences
But you know, so crazy, people overshare with me all the time.
Well, you're an easy person to talk to, so that's easy.
And that's what makes it, like, awkward. And when they cry, it's just like, what do I do? I'm like, stop, don't do that. And I'm a Virgo, so I'm just like, cut it out.
Please stop.
Like, don't do that. We were fine until you did that. But I, you know, I do know that I'm an empath, and I'll be worried about the lady in the grocery store, what happened to her dog. And then the next day, I don't have the capacity to work because I've spent so much time on it. It's like, just don't tell me anything that, you know.
No sad stuff today.
Unless we're friends and I can follow up and we can. Yeah. But no. The answer is no.
Well, this has been an absolutely wonderful episode. Thank you for your time, Kenyana.
Yeah.
There probably will be some part 2 somewhere along the line.
Or those snippets of what didn't make it.
So you heard it here on Just Ask Em. This is Kenyana, privacy versus secrecy. And I think the biggest thing is just...
don't cry in front of me.
That. And know who you are and be you, and it's okay.
Yeah, don't be weird.
Subscribe.